From Lagos, Nigeria, this is News Central. I'm Felicity Ezewike. The top stories tonight. Outrage over spate of killings in North Central as stakeholders urge President Tinubu to suspend France trip and return home. House of Representatives summoned Rivers State sole administrator to appear before it Thursday. No deal if you don't leave. Hamas wants Israel to withdraw its troops completely from Gaza if there must be a ceasefire.
In business, Dangote Refinery slashes petrol prices to 835 naira per litre in second reduction in 2 weeks.
And in sport, ahead of the National Sports Festival in Ogun State, Governor Dapo Abiodun promises at least most memorable experience in the state. Details in a moment.
Tonight begins now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. There is growing outrage in Nigeria's North Central region following a spate of killings that have left scores dead. Now, the Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, has reassured the commitment of the police in ensuring residents of Plateau State live without fear of any attacks. He was speaking in Jos, the Plateau State capital, during his condolence visit to Governor Caleb Mutfwang, where he noted that the masterminds of the attack will not go unpunished. My colleague, Chizoba Anyowe, completes the story.
This is the third time Nigeria's police chief is visiting Plateau State, sadly on condolences. This time is as a result of the recent killings in Basa local government area. IGP Egbetokun, who reassured the commitment of the Nigeria police in restoring peace in troubled areas of the country, said everything possible will be done to bring masterminds of the killings to justice.
We have recently increased our deployment to Plateau State. We have deployed more men, more security personnel, and more operational assets to the affected areas. And the operations are ongoing. We are working tirelessly with other security agencies and the intelligence community. We are intensifying our intelligence gathering efforts to identify the masterminds behind these dastardly acts and bring them to justice. We are going to continue to work together. We will continue to work tirelessly until we're able to solve these problems.
The governor is unwavering in his words that peace will reign again on the plateau with measures that have been put in place.
We have received additional deployments. The process was on even before this recent setback that we had. What has happened in the hinterland of Plateau, like you rightly described it, sir, is plain murder, is sheer criminality that took place, where innocent lives were massacred. And there's a story behind this that we need to unravel and make sure that we deal with this thing faster than we think, because it is not just about Plateau. It's just that Plateau is in the news at the moment. But we need to find a way to arrest this situation as quickly as possible.
51 persons were killed early on Monday in Zike community, with houses razed and many displaced, just about 2 weeks after similar attacks led to the killing of scores in Bokos local government area of the state. In Plateau State for News Central, Chizoba Anyowe.
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has asked President Bola Tinubu to immediately return home to confront rising insecurity. In a post on his X page on Wednesday, Obi asked the president to suspend his France retreat amid the worsening insecurity back home. He said repeated pipeline explosions in the Niger Delta are signs of a nation in distress. The former Anambra governor described Tinubu as a retreating president and said the nation is facing a wave of violent crimes without visible leadership. During Tinubu's stay in France, there has been a surge in killings and abductions by gunmen in several parts of the country, notably in Plateau, Benue, and Adamawa states. Also, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has sharply criticized President Bola Tinubu over his continued stay in France amid a surge in deadly violence across the country. He accused the president of abandoning the country during one of its darkest moments. In a statement issued by his media aide on Thursday, Atiku described Tinubu's latest foreign trip as a vacation cloaked in official jargon and said the president had shown contempt for Nigerians by remaining abroad while communities in Plateau, Benue, and other parts of the country are under attack. President Tinubu departed for France on April 2 on what the presidency described as a working visit. For some perspective on this, we're joined by former Army spokesman, Brigadier General Sani Kukashika Usman, retired. Also joining is Solomon Dalyop, National President of the Beram Youth Molder Association. Thank you, gentlemen, for giving us your time. Let me start with you, Brigadier General, sir. What are the underlying drivers of this recent killing in Nigeria's north-central region, and how do you think we can begin to address it?
Good evening, and thank you so much. What is happening actually in the not just north central part of the country, but in particular north central, is quite unfortunate and pathetic. The drivers are there. Over time, there is drifting apart of the component of Nigerian society to the extent that people no longer trust or love one another, simply because the essence of national unity and all the rest of the things have, been drifting apart. So this is one of the drivers, because if there is mutual understanding and affection and tolerance, we wouldn't have had this kind of complex situation to the extent that it will escalate into violence, to the wanton killing and destruction of property, as it were. But of course, you know it and I know it, over time, political, or rather politicians, so to speak, and some other elements in Nigerian society have been manipulating in its ethnicity and religion, to suit their own purposes. And most of the instances people see it. That is why every situation that happens, it will be seen from that extent of us versus them and all the rest is against isolating it. Sometimes it's just a mere understanding among two, young people and all the rest, and you see this whole society is emerged into it. And the third aspect is that there is so much ignorance and there is so much economic deprivation. And then the fourth one is the issue of competition for resources. And it could be, particularly land and water and so many other things. So these are the drivers. So it is not surprising we kept on getting these kind of things instead of us to learn lessons over time since the early, 21st century, when we have had this kind of conflicts. There are issues, again, that have not been addressed. People always do whatever they want to do. There is no reward and punishment. You can cite several instances, communities were attacked, they were ransacked, as if it was done by spirits. People who have not been caught talkless or been taken.
It seems that the drivers of these issues are known and has been known for quite a number of years. What is then lacking in addressing these issues once and for all? Is it so hard that government after government seem to fail to take on this matter full on? Is it a lack of will, perhaps?
First and foremost, it is one of it, the political will to deal decisively with this issue. Then the other aspect is the politicization of security issues. People tend to understand things from the perspective of either political lineage, lineage, or political interest, ethnicity, or religious interest. So basically, unless we look at criminality the way it is, pure criminality against fellow human beings, who continue to have this kind of problem. But the most important thing is the issue of lack of political will. And if I may add, the issue of security challenges to a large extent hinge on governance. Whenever there are security challenges, basically, it is a failure of governance, simple.
Okay, let's bring in Solomon. I mean, you work with young people, you are in the workforce, you know what is going on. So these calls for the president to return to the country and address these issues, this is not the first time we're hearing it. I want your thoughts on that in contrast to what they have been doing as a response to this violence prior to his traveling. He just left on April the 2nd.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here once again to address the issue of insecurity, particularly in the North Central region, where banditry and terrorism is rising its ugly head and has claimed so many innocent lives, despite the sanctity of human life that is constitutionally provided to be enjoyed. And a call for the return of the Mr. President is one. Will his return peace, or will his return, bring back lives that have been killed? Was it because he traveled? That is why the bandits and killers of human beings have embarked on this? Absolutely no. Of course, if we call for issues to be addressed, let's call them, but whether the president is here or not, of course, it is a system. It continues. Nigeria continues. But the thing here is that what have we done that we've not done it right? And what have we not done that we ought not to have done, or we have done it? So these are questions that require, attention and answer. But the thing here is that, of course, the president, even if he's in the country, he cannot be everywhere. He can only give order.
Okay, so I needed to bring that in because the news is full of these calls. The news is full of these calls for the president to come back and address these issues. But talk to us, paint us a picture as a resident who is experiencing what is going on. How is this continuing to impact the social and economic fabric of the communities in the North Central region? Is there any support from humanitarian organizations in the interim?
At the moment, on the plateau to be precise, we've seen government of the state taking every step towards alleviating the plight of these people who have been affected by the recent upheaval and attacks that were meted out of villages and communities. We've also seen NEMA coming into play and some other spirited individuals. But of course, those are just to caution the effect of the crisis. But the underlying issues are, is the food restoring life? All those interventions restoring life without justice, without arresting the perpetrators, without dislodging, bandits that have come and taken over communities and villages and are currently under occupation of same. So it's not all about providing relief materials for the people that matters most. But of course, what about the trauma they've been subjected to? Because bringing justice, administering justice to these individuals, it will go a long way in addressing the trauma they found themselves in. And then how will this justice be administered? How will the people not only be, hearing about justice and not seeing it? Justice is not all about being heard. Justice is all about being seen. So people will want to see, and one appalling incident on the plateau that I've observed within these days is that in the previous time, whenever there is such invasion or attack on villages and communities, you will discover that where the military cannot be able to, swiftly respond to the situation, there will be aerial support, there will be aerial surveillance. Where are the helicopters that were then before now flying the plateau, and then they are nowhere to be seen?
All right, let's bring back you've raised some issues. I mean, there used to be aerial support and for the army and all of that. Brigadier General Usman, talk to us about where officers are at. The IGP has promised to protect lives and property in the region with specific security measures. What would you be recommending? And maybe if you have a thought to add to what Solomon mentioned about where are the aerial support for the military? Brigadier General, sir, if you can hear me.
Okay, I think there was the problem with the internet connectivity.
Okay,
I lost a substantial part of the other aspect, but I have heard him quite right. And the situation, my deepest condolence and sympathy to the good people of Plateau State in particular and North Central, especially those that have been affected. I can understand how people feel and all the rest of the thing. But the long and short of it is that I think we're on the same page in the sense that, and I made reference to the issue of governance and all the rest, nobody. There is, I said a time without number, so long as you bring, even if you bring 1 million policemen or 1 million military people, so long as the people have not agreed among themselves to live in peace. Like I said earlier on, and he made reference to the fact that, justice has to be done. Those people that have been perpetrating this kind of heinous crime over time, what happened to them? Are they spirits, or is it that we have not been seeing them? And how many of them have been arrested, and how many of them have been prosecuted to serve as deterrent to other people? Agreed. All these measures may not bring back, or rather will not bring back all those that we lost. But the long and short of it is that people will have greater sense of belonging that, yes, if you do certain things that is not agreeable with the laws of the land, definitely will be punished. So people will think twice before they do it. But the most important thing is the issue of the people themselves. Any conflict sensitivity program, you must have the buy-in of the people. Some of these people, they live within the communities and people shield them. Why don't we have constructive engagement among the constraints of those communities to know who are those behind it, what are the underlying factors that brought about these heinous crimes that are being committed, and how do we go about addressing them? So the policing system will only complement that aspect and bring some kind of assurance. But I think to live in peace and harmony, it requires the components of the society that lives in. And nobody lives is an island. You just have to make do with some other people, a kind of give and take. And the case in point is that there are several other examples. Take, for instance, even in Israel, there are still Arabs in Israel. So these are the kind of things that we are talking about. Nigerians should have greater sense of belonging wherever they are. And a criminal, regardless of which God he or she worship, is a criminal, or regardless of which language he speaks or his ethnicity, is a criminal. And unless we are on the same page, irrespective of issues, we'll continue to have problems. And of course, like I mentioned, all these security challenges.
Brigadier General, in the interest of time, I'll have to interject again and just give Solomon the last 30 seconds to quickly talk to the people who are experiencing this violence and losing families every day. Solomon, if you can hear me, the question is for you. Okay, I guess we'll have to leave it there for now. Gentlemen, thank you so much for sparing time to speak with us tonight. Coming up, court nullifies removal of Obasa as Lagos Speaker. Details of this story and more when we return. You're watching Tonight on News Central. A reminder of our top stories. Outrage over spate of killings in North Central as stakeholders urge President Tinubu to suspend France trip and return home. House of Representatives summoned Rivers State sole administrator to appear before it Thursday. No deal if you don't leave. Hamas warns Israel to withdraw its troops completely from Gaza if there must be a ceasefire. President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated a committee on the forthcoming National Population and Housing Census. The committee is expected to submit an interim report within 3 weeks. Represented by his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, the president said the census is crucial for national development, accurate planning, and effective decision-making in healthcare, education, security, and economic planning. He also stressed the pivotal role of a technology-driven process in ensuring credible and verifiable results and the need for collaboration among all relevant agencies and stakeholders. To court matters, and Ikeja High Court on Wednesday declared that the removal of Mudashiru Obasa as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly was illegal and unconstitutional. Justice Yetunde Pinheiro declared the plenary session was held in Obasa's absence, which deemed it invalid as it lacked proper authorization. The court emphasized that only the House leadership had the authority to convene such a session, not the chief whip. Consequently, the court awarded Obasa 500,000 naira in damages for the unlawful removal and the psychological embarrassment caused to him. House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Rivers State Oversight has invited the state sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ikeja High, for a meeting on Thursday, April the 17th. The decision was taken just a day after the committee was constituted by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, as its members held their inaugural meeting to examine preliminary reports and review the state of security in the state. Chaired by House Majority Leader Professor Julius Ihonvere, many view the committee as a soft landing of sorts for the declaration of a state of emergency by President Bola Tinubu, which has been widely condemned as illegal and unconstitutional. Joining me now to speak on this are Fred Nzako, a lawyer. For now, we're hoping to get another guest join us for this conversation. Thank you for speaking with us. Everything regarding to the National Assembly Committee being constituted and the sole administrator being summoned is a first. What are we to expect from Thursday's meeting?
Well, the committee was just constituted, and at the inaugural meeting, they have already started inviting the sole administrator to come and interface with the committee tomorrow, which is Thursday. I feel that the committee should be conscious of the fact that the sole administrator has a duty to discharge in Port Harcourt, in Rivers State. And if he's going to be summoned to come to Abuja, he has to be given some time. And I feel that the time given to him was first not enough, and the two, yes, the committee may want to hit the ground running, but they must be conscious of the fact that the issue of logistics and the distance will pose some measure of delay. And more so that the sole administrator needs to be given enough time for him to arrange himself and come for the address. And of course, I expected that they should give him the terms of their discussion, more or less, so that he will come with relevant information and relevant documents and all issues that are needed for a meaningful interface with the committee. And we cannot stop saying that the imposition of the sole administrator in Rivers State is an aberration. It's unconstitutional. It's not contemplated by our constitution, and very unfortunately was endorsed by National Assembly. Now the National Assembly is through the House of Reps is going around trying to assert their legislative authority. They should be told that they should take it easy because they first supported unconstitutional imposition of a sole administrator and by dismantling of the democratic structures in Rivers State. And they should know that there's a lot of assignment for the sole administrator.
Okay.
Especially with respect to what is a job description and what is expected to do in Rivers State.
Okay, so he's been there about a month, not exactly a month yet, if I'm not correct. On what parameters is the committee going to assess or score the sole administrator on performance?
Well, whatever parameter they want to use, they must know and let him know that what he's doing in Rivers State by dismantling the already existing democratic structure is to cause more trouble for that state. Because he is going to spend 6 months, and we expect that after that 6 months or even less than that, that the elected governor should resume his position, and the elected House of Assembly should all resume their positions. And what he's doing today by dismantling all people, all structures set up by the governor, is to create chaos even after the governor has resumed. Take, for example, the reconstitution of the State Independent Electoral Commission and all manner of things he's doing, removing virtually everybody that was appointed by the governor, will create problem for the state whenever the governor comes back, because the feedback from the public points to the fact that he is replacing them with people who are not likely to be loyal to the governor when he resumes office. Because some people accuse him of replacing same former men with just some weakest man. And if that accusation is correct, then he's creating more problem for the state. And that is why the House of Reps committee must ask him very important questions about his attempt to undermine all the democratic structures put in place in Rivers.
Okay.
Because if he continues in that trajectory, it will cause serious problem for the state.
The assessment, whatever yardstick is being used, some say emboldens what they describe as the illegality in Rivers State. But I guess we'll have to handle that question some other time. We're out of time for this one. Thank you for speaking with us.
Many thanks.
Let's head over now to the federal capital, where the minister, Nyesom Wike, has commended the speed and quality of work on the Outer Northern Expressway. Wike, during an inspection of several roads being constructed, says that the projects are proof of the commitment of the federal government to fulfilling promises made by its Renewed Hope agenda. He says that the roads will solve the problem of rural-urban migration, which results to a congestion of the city center.
Outer Northern Expressway is part of which is being handled by Gilmore, will also be commissioned in May. I'm impressed with the bridge work. If you had followed us to that place before that, you'll be thinking that it will be difficult. Now, they have succeeded in crossing over the rail line, and they have almost, by the end of the week, they have said next week, they will have casting the concrete of the bridge. And it gives us pleasure. We're happy with what we're doing. People will also move down there instead of people only residing within the city. And that's what we're praying, to discourage people from living from the rural area to the city.
Outside our shores now, the United Nations has called on the international community to act to prevent a humanitarian nightmare in South Sudan. Chief of the UN mission in the country, Nicholas Haysom, told the UN Security Council that there has been a sharp deterioration in the political and security situation, which threatens to unravel the peace gains made in recent years. Tensions have increased in South Sudan over clashes between forces loyal to President Salva Kiir and those backing his rival, First Vice President Riek Machar. A senior Hamas official stated on Wednesday that any potential ceasefire agreement must include a complete withdrawal of Israeli forces from the Gaza Strip. The announcement comes as Israeli military operations continue across the territory with no sign of de-escalation. The demand was issued hours after deadly Israeli strikes hit a tent in Khan Yunis, where grieving relatives brought victims to Nasser Hospital. Gaza's health ministry reported at least 51,025 confirmed deaths since the start of Israel's campaign 18 months ago, while the Gaza government media office places the toll at 61,700, including thousands believed to be buried under rubble. Business news comes up after this break.
Just help me take out my phone.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that the... was it not yesterday I asked you about...
You did.
Yeah,
you did.
So...
But it's something else that's causing it.
No.
Can you hear me? Oh, God, strengthen me. Tired, man.
He's here. We don't hear now. That's what they like repeating.
We are listening.
I heard that this thing wasn't working.
Copy that. It's straight to the story. Okay, there's a montage.
Joanna is here with the business. Was it not just yesterday we're talking about the price of petrol, the likelihood of its coming down? It seems that was a preemption of what's happening today.
You must have been looking into a crystal ball, but it's not influenced by local factors. It's more international. It's Trump, it's China, it's OPEC. But I'll bring you the details on that after this break. And Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reduced the gantry price of premium motor spirits to 835 naira per litre, its second cut in 2 weeks. The latest reduction follows a drop in global crude oil prices, which are now at $64 per barrel, down from over $70. Previously, the refinery had lowered its ex-depot price from 880 naira to 865 naira per litre. However, oil marketers did not reflect that earlier cut in pump prices. And the EFCC has pledged to recover Nigerians' investment lost in alleged 1.3 trillion naira crypto bank exchange scam. Spokesman Dele Oyewale said that the commission is working with Interpol and global partners to track the suspects. He dismissed claims of helplessness, assuring victims that recovery is underway, though it may take time. The scam platform CBEX collapsed after promising 100% return, locking users out and demanding more deposits. Oyewale urged Nigerians to stay vigilant and avoid falling for fraudulent online investment schemes. And the World Trade Organization has sharply downgraded its 2025 global trade outlook, projecting a 0.2% decline in world merchandise trade due to rising tariffs and policy uncertainty linked to U.S. President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariff regime. The WTO warned of a potential 1.5% drop if suspended tariffs resume and uncertainty spreads. North America is set for a 12.6% export decline, while China-U.S. tensions cause trade diversions. Least developed countries face heightened risks, though some may benefit from shifting trade flows, particularly in sectors affected by falling U.S. imports from China. And investor sentiments turned red after the release of inflation data, an upturn, I beg your pardon, yesterday. We saw inflation data reflect that. We're seeing sell-off today brought the year-to-date return to minus 4.28%. Market is down Wednesday, 68 basis points. All-share index 103,805.188, and we have market capitalization 65.25 trillion naira. If we come to the sectoral performances, banks are creating the most drag on the markets today. GTCO, Zenith Bank took major losses today. Insurance and consumer goods are the only sectors up. Insurance up 0.80%, consumer goods up 0.34%. Oil and gas is down, industrial goods down as well. That's business tonight. I am Joanna Mustafa. Tonight continues with Felicity.
Sports news now. Tunde is here with the latest. Tunde, over to you.
Yeah, we hear that the Ogun State governor promising that the 22nd National Sports Festival will be the best ever, promising heaven and earth. We'll be talking about all that and much more after this short break. Hello and welcome to Sports. The governor of Ogun State, Dakwa Abiodun, yesterday unveiled the mascot, the logo and the theme song for the 2024 National Sports Festival, billed to be held in the state from the 16th to the 30th of May 2025. Represented by his deputy Noimot Salako Oyedele, the governor equally pledged that the state will deliver, I quote, the most memorable, most inclusive and most inspiring National Sports Festival Nigeria has ever seen. The event was held at the June 12 Cultural Center in Abeokuta. Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olopade, promised that the Games would set new standards for hosting events in Nigeria.
Guests with kindness and showcasing the culture and hospitality that make us who we are. We have only one opportunity to make a first impression. Let us make it count.
This is the first time in the history of these games that the federal government is pulling every weight behind the whole state, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. The festival that Governor Abiodun is about to host has never been organized this way before. It is the first time in the history of these games that we will house 15,000 young men and women in one facility.
To boxing now, the inaugural WBC Boxing Grand Prix will begin tomorrow in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Nigerian featherweight duo Yusuf Adeniji and Idris Gbadamosi have already arrived in the kingdom. Now, Adisa is unbeaten in 14 fights and will face Mexican Carlos Ozona, who is also undefeated in 15 fights. Badamosi, who has 7 wins from 7 fights, will also face another unbeaten Mexican, Hector Munguia, who has 13 wins from 14 fights. 32 fighters per weight class in 4 weight divisions are taking part in the tournament. 128 fighters will be whittled down to 64 by the end of the week, with August, October, and December earmarked to stage the latter rounds, which will include the grand final event. And here in Nigeria, 6 Nigeria Premier Football League club sides have qualified for the quarterfinals of this year's President Federation Cup after the conclusion of round of 16 matches across the country today. In Lagos, Godwin Obaje converted a 45th minute penalty to give 6-time champions Rangers a 1-0 win over Bendel Insurance. Akwa United have also edged Inter Lagos by a lone goal. Second half goals by Harrison Uzondu and Shola Adelani gave Ikorodu City a 2-0 win over Beyond Limits Football Academy. Elsewhere, Nasarawa United beat Bayelsa United 5-3 on penalties. Kwara United thrashed Solution FC 3-0. Plateau United defeated Osun United 2-1. Wiki Tourists also beat Warri Wolves 4-3 on penalties, while 4-time champions Eyimba were eliminated 2-0 by lower league side Abakaliki. The quarterfinal fixtures will see Abakaliki FC take on Nasarawa United. Wiki Tourists will battle the Ikorodu City. Akwa United will face Kwara United, while Plateau United will go head-to-head with Rangers. And to some sad news from the international football front, Gabon international Aaron Bupenza has died at the age of 28 after reportedly falling from the 11th floor of a building in China. The forward featured for his country at the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon and won a total of 35 caps for Gabon. He had joined Chinese club Zhejiang FC based in the city of Hangzhou from Romanian outfit Rapid Bucharest in January. Authorities in China have launched an investigation to find out whether the fall was an accident, suicide, or result of foul play. There was no official confirmation of the cause of death. And finally, to some tennis. World number 2 Iga Swiatek won 6-2, 6-2 against Croatian qualifier Jana Fett in the last 16 of the WTA event in Stuttgart on Wednesday. Swiatek broke her 153rd ranked opponent twice in the first set and 3 times in the second. The victory marked a return to winning ways for the 5-time Grand Slam winner Swiatek as she bounced back from a surprise defeat to Alexandra Ila in the quarterfinals of the Miami Open in March. The Pole has twice won Stuttgart in 2022 and 2023. A 3rd Stuttgart crown would be Swiatek's first tournament victory in 2025. Elsewhere, rising star Mira Andreeva booked her spot in the round of 16 earlier on Wednesday as she progressed when her elder sister Erika retired while trailing 6-2, 1-love.
And another double fault concludes the first set in Świątek's favour. 4 double faults, unfortunately, from Fett. That's Świątek.
And that's all we have on sports tonight. It's back to Felicity with the rest of the news.
He says it's from a devil. Hey, God, do. Yes? I can hear you. Oh, yeah, now. I see, say, now 48, now on a day like this.
To banter. As far as, those stories are not.
It's not a long conversation kind of thing, you know. But we'll just see what we can do, Sha.
My own congratulations to her.
Yes, so
nothing else.
It's not easy, knowing the fact
that. Not a famzy of Moab.
You're not a fan?
Well, he's done amazing.
Yes.
But I'm not a fan.
Why? You can say it on national TV.
I'm not ready.
Let us just trend like this now.
I'm not ready.
Entertainment stories, that's what we have for you now. And Adewo is here with the latest.
Yep. Well, I would say big ups to one of Nigeria's very own, Mo Abudu, as she's been named part of the 100 most influential people in the world. Yes, a round of applause, right? I like that. At least we're not on the list for corruption, fraud and things like that. Yeah.
Yes. So we need something nice to celebrate from 100. All the killings up north.
100%. All right, I'll give you all the details shortly. All right, so into some exciting entertainment news. Mo Abudu, the CEO of Ebony Live Media, has been named one of Time's 100 most influential people of 2025 for her groundbreaking work in African storytelling and media. Celebrated for her role in reshaping global narratives about Africa, Abudu has driven impact through Ebony Live's work in film, TV, and creative industries. She recently announced the launch of Ebony Live Place London, a cultural hub to spotlight African talent globally, calling the honor a shared win for Africa. She joins other influential African leaders on the Time list. So, Felicity, what do you think? What do you think?
Big congratulations to her. Like her or hate her, she is doing amazing work for Nigeria's entertainment industry. So, yeah. We celebrate all the time.
Yes, because I think it's necessary to celebrate because, like I said earlier, we have different lists that don't really put Nigeria in a good light, but this is something that is commendable. And
yes, we celebrate our own. That is one thing I feel Nigerians have in common. We don't joke with our celebrities, especially the ones that their head is in,
we always stand behind them and support them. Well, good stuff. Now let's talk about some international entertainment news. Now, Elton John and Brandi Carlile have launched the Who Believes in Angels campaign through their foundation to combat recent cuts to global HIV/AIDS funding, including those from the Trump administration. Named after their collaborative album, the initiative supports the Elton John AIDS Foundation Rocket Response Fund, which aims to restore essential services such as clinic access, medication, and prevention programs affected by the loss of the USAID support. The artists are calling on the public to donate through the Looking Out Foundation to help prevent millions of potential new HIV cases and deaths by 2030. Now, should I say that's good forward thinking?
Yes, it is. I mean, do what you can where you are at. Don't wait until everything is honky-dory.
Yeah.
Start small, and they're setting a standard. So, I mean, if you can donate, all important causes are important. We can't say one is more important than the other.
And the good thing is that these are people of influence, using their influence the right way, not to create chaos, but to think about building the world and make it a better place.
Just like our Mo Abudu.
You know. All right, well, that's all we have on entertainment tonight.
That's all we have for you tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the top stories. There is outrage over a spate of killings in North Central as stakeholders urge President Tinubu to suspend France trip and return home. House of Representatives have summoned the Rivers State sole administrator to appear before it Thursday. No deal if you don't leave. Hamas wants Israel to withdraw its troops completely from Gaza if there must be a ceasefire. Do send your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen. You can follow us on social media as well to do that at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. Good night.